but they are also pooping. You are pooping. Will you stop pooping? Hedgehogs are poop machines. Just know that if you get one. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Uncharted Wild's YouTube channel. My name is Adam. I am the owner of Uncharted Wild. It's an exotic animal education business I started about 4.5 years ago. And I've been getting asked for years by friends and family and people that have seen my programs if I have a YouTube channel or if I'm going to start one. And I was debating it for a long time. I mean, I have 70 plus animals, 50 plus species. So it's kind of hard doing so many different things when I have so many animals, but I really love education. I love every part of my job. So I figured why not expand on that, and here we are. So a lot of the animals I have are going to be showing up in kind of multiple series of my videos. So I'm going to do some on where my animals are from in the wild, some on some of the endangered animals that I have, videos on care. I'm going to be doing fun fact videos. So I'm going to have a couple of these animals are going to show up, and each time we're going to talk about different parts of that animal. So in this video, and I posted a poll on my Instagram page if you want to follow, it's just Uncharted Wild on Instagram. So I did a poll about what video my fans would like to see. And the #1 video that people wanted was some of my strangest animals. So today we're going to be talking about some of my strangest animals that I have. Now these animals could be strange biologically, physically, the role they serve in the environment, whatever. So to kick things off with the first ever animal we're going to talk about on this YouTube channel, we are going to talk about, after she just got done pooping on the corner of the table you guys can't see, this is Blueberry. Blueberry is a pancake tortoise. They are from Africa. I have 3 pancake tortoises. I have Blueberry, Flapjack, and pancake tortoises, just by the name, are flat. Well, they're supposed to be flat. Right now she's got a little bit of pyramiding going on because her previous home wasn't that good. So they didn't get the right environment. They didn't get the right lighting and everything like that. So they developed pyramiding. We'll talk about that in a different video. But that means basically that her shell is malformed. Now it doesn't hurt her or anything like that, but just means she's not perfectly flat. So these tortoises are unusually thin and lightweight because smush. The most tortoises, the shell is completely bone. You have the plastron and the carapace. The carapace is the top, plastron is the bottom. And this tortoise, it's not actually complete bone. There's actually holes, there's gaps in the bone, which will actually allow for some flexibility. So this is just filled in by cartilage. So this tortoise is actually semi-flexible. So because this shell is so lightweight, they're actually said to be the fastest tortoise. And she really wants to get motoring. So rather than hiding in their shell, what these guys do is they're going to actually try and run away, and they're going to hide under like a rocky outcropping or a hole or something like that, and they're going to wedge themselves in there, and because of this flexible plastron, they can actually really hug the rocks, and then they're going to puff up so that the predator can't yank them back out. So very unusual way to not get eaten compared to most turtles and tortoises. These guys have a bit of a magic trick. They're actually, to my knowledge, the only tortoise that when they're flipped over onto their back, they can actually right themselves because their shell is so flat and narrow. They can actually reach with their legs and flip themselves back over. Now that's helpful because these guys live in really rocky, mountainous terrain. So if they fall over, they're going to want to be able to flip themselves back. Otherwise, they're just going to be laying there until something comes to eat them. It's not very advantageous. And the females actually only lay 1 egg at a time. Now they can lay multiple times a season, but unlike most reptiles, which kind of lay a bunch of eggs at once, she just lays 1. So yeah, that's the pancake tortoise. Very bizarre little flat reptile. Now my next animal is an empty tank. No, these guys I cannot hold. They are very jumpy, pun, because they are frogs. These are Solomon Island leaf frogs. Now these frogs are really kind of bizarre looking. They look perfectly like leaves. This species is perfectly designed to camouflage on the rainforest floor. And they come in a wide variety of colors, just like crayons. You got your browns, you got your yellows, tans, even some greens. Now obviously you're never going to see a blue one of these because that really would not survive in the wild. They come in probably the most varied colors outside of poison dart frogs I can think of. And even poison dart frogs are all kind of different species. These guys, same species, all these different colors. Now maple is the lighter one, and the darker one is oak. Because just like Pokemon professors, I named them after trees.
Wonderful!
Now, this is a very adaptable species. A lot of frog and toad species are actually endangered, but these guys are listed as least concern on the CITES Endangered Index because they adapt so well to really just about any kind of foresty environment you put them in. That's very rare for a frog species because most frog species are very sensitive, and you have a bunch of them going endangered and extinct in the wild because of changes in their environment. These guys have actually adapted pretty well to human expansion, which is, again, very, very rare. Now, what's probably the strangest thing about this species is the fact that they skip the tadpole phase. So what I mean by that is when most frogs lay their eggs, they're going to lay the eggs in the water, and those eggs will hatch. When those eggs hatch, they're going to be free-swimming little tadpoles, and eventually, I mean, I'm sure you all studied it in school, those frogs will eventually lose the tail, grow legs, they hop up onto land, they become frogs. With this species, the tadpoles will actually turn into the frogs within the egg, so they skip the free-swimming tadpole phase. So when those eggs hatch, they're already little froglets bouncing around, trying to survive and not get eaten. Now, they're an example of convergent evolution with the Malayan leaf frog, which looks kind of similar. And what convergent evolution is when you have two separate things. So they're both frogs, they're both in the order Anura, but they're different families and genuses. But they both evolved to have this leaf-like appearance. And what convergent evolution is when you take two separate things and they evolve to have the same traits or ecological niche. So kind of like green tree pythons and emerald tree boas. One's from Australia and Indonesia, the other one's from South America. Or you have the eagle owl and the great horned owl, or how birds and bats both evolved to have flight. There's many different examples of this across the animal kingdom. So these species, even though they're on completely different islands, they both evolved to have this leaf-like appearance. And if you look really closely at the face, you can even see they've got little horns on their eyes, there's got a little one on their lip. So these guys are just perfectly camouflaged to blend in with the leaf litter, even their backs with the veins and everything. So yeah, Solomon Island leaf frog. I'm risking holding one. I'm really afraid it's going to try and launch out of my hands, but it's being good so far. But yeah, so very cool, very unique frog species. So next we're going to talk about what is probably my most bizarre looking animal, and it is not the stick. It is what is on the stick. These are walking stick bugs. Walking sticks are found just about worldwide. I mean, obviously not Antarctica and some other colder regions, but they are a very widespread bug, with the longest getting just about 1.5 feet, even longer. So they can get very, very large for an insect as well. Now, mine, I believe, are called Western short-horned stick bugs. Someone in the comments that knows much more about stick bugs than I do might be able to clarify. I'm pretty sure that's the type, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, these guys blend in perfectly. If you were to go walking in the woods, you probably wouldn't even see one of these if you were to walk by them. They're just that well camouflaged to blending in with sticks. Some walking sticks look thorny, some have wings, some look like leaves. I mean, just as a type of bug, these guys have really just diversified and filled a whole bunch of different types of biomes. They'll even kind of rock gently if a stick is getting blown in the wind. They can regrow lost limbs and antennae. As they molt their skin and get bigger, they'll just slowly regrow it back through a couple molts, which sounds handy. Now, they only live about a year, give or take the species, sometimes a little bit longer. So what they'll do is no matter what part of the tree is, they'll actually lay their eggs from really high up in the trees, and those eggs will just fall and land in the leaf litter. Those eggs can survive that giant drop. The eggs will drop down into the leaf litter, and they'll actually stay there until spring. They'll survive through the winter, and then they'll hatch out new little baby walking stick bugs. We actually have a little baby here. I think that's after 1 or 2 sheds. They actually do get smaller than that. Now, walking sticks can also do what's called parthenogenesis. Not all species, but parthenogenesis is basically when a female that has no males around will reproduce on her own, and those babies will actually be a genetic clone of herself because she don't need no man. Now, snakes and some other lizards and other animals have been observed to do this too, but walking sticks are one of the most popular examples. So I would talk to kids about the Bugs Life movie, being like, oh, you may have seen these on Bugs Life. And the kids nowadays are like, what's Bugs Life? Because that Pixar movie, while a big part of my childhood, is now ancient for most kids. I mean, I think Frozen is even old compared to most little kids now. I always thought a mean, kind of funny joke would be putting a bunch of them in the Christmas tree and not telling the family. There's really no other way to describe them other than almost like a stick-like alien. They just look so bizarre. Next, we're going to talk about Big Lou. He's my Indonesian blue-tongue skink. And he is definitely one of the most popular animals I have in my program because, I mean, he just looks so weird. He looks kind of like if you took a big chunky sausage and gave it little legs. Skink is basically a snake-like lizard. So blue-tongue skinks are the second largest species. And skink, like I said, snake-like lizard, so he's got this kind of elongated body, and he's got these little stubby, kind of sad excuse for legs. If you guys look real close at his ear, he's actually got scales that face back into his ear, and that's so when he goes burrowing, sand and dirt and soil and stuff doesn't get knocked back into his ear hole. Now with this kind of long body, now he does have bones. A lot of kids ask if he has bones. He's got a spine and ribs that go all the way down that, and he can do this kind of cool, flexible motion that most animals can't. So you can see he can kind of do this. He can kind of do that. And it doesn't hurt him. His body is designed to do that. He's got this long, flexible back. He can kind of do the worm. I mean, what kind of animal can do this besides a snake? Now, the famous thing with blue-tongue skinks, obviously, it's in the name. He's got that bright blue tongue, which most animals obviously do not have that kind of just bright, in-your-face blue. So with that blue tongue, what he's going to do is he's going to flash it out if a predator is trying to eat him. He's going to flash it out, huff up. He's going to try and look big and tough. He's going to hiss. He's going to go, bleh, trying to pretend that he's big and tough and scary and try and kind of startle the predator so that it gives him enough time to either run away into the bush or just avoid getting eaten. Now, just how a blue tongue moves is really, really bizarre. They kind of just slide along on the ground, use their little legs to kind of kick them along. If you ever watch a blue tongue go down a hill, they basically just tuck their legs in and just slide down it like a toboggan. But yeah, he's just, I don't know, he just physically looks like a very weird lizard. Normally when people picture lizards, they picture bearded dragons or Komodo dragons or iguanas. You don't picture chub. Where are you going? No, stay on the table. No, come here. Ah. I thought I trimmed his nails, but they're still really sharp. This is why I like snakes. Snakes don't have nails. They don't scratch. Are you ready for a magic trick? Whoosh. This is Paris, and Paris is one of my African pygmy hedgehogs. Now, hedgehogs are just kind of a weird looking cute little animal. Their back are covered in these spines. They're hollow, hardened, modified basically hairs, and they use those to defend themselves because their back is covered in muscle. So when they get scared by a predator, they're going to roll up tight into a ball. They're going to tuck all the cute little furry warm parts on the inside so that way the predator can't really hurt them, and then all these spines will stand up on end, and no matter what way the predator tries to eat her, they're just getting a mouthful of spikes. Now, the spikes aren't designed to come out like a porcupine's quill would. Most porcupines have barbs on their quill so that when they get lodged in the predator's skin, they'll come out. These ones basically just picture like taping a bunch of sharpened pencils facing out on yourself all over your whole body. Come here. She's a very hungry little girl. Now, quills and spines are really only found in 4 main mammal groups: hedgehogs, tenrecs, echidnas, and rodents. Now, the spines are all the same length, and you can actually pick up a hedgehog just by grabbing one of these spines. That's how kind of lodged in. They're not meant to come out. Now, they will shed some just like we lose hairs every once in a while, and they'll just grow a new one back in. They can actually have up to 5,000 spines. Now, you'd think a mom hedgehog giving birth to 4 to 7 spiky babies would hurt a lot, but what actually happens is as the babies, when they're born, the spines are actually soft. So the spines harden up about a week or so after, so that way mom doesn't hurt when she's taking care of them for the first week. So hedgehogs do this thing called anointing. So when they're walking around, they'll start licking something, they'll chew on it, they'll lather it up, make a foam in their mouth, and they'll actually take their tongue and they'll start licking it on their spines. Now, the surefire reason for this is unknown. There's a couple different hypotheses. One of them is they think if they find a really nasty smell, they're gonna lick that up and they'll chew it on, so that way they smell bad, so predators will be less inclined to eat them because they smell gross. Now, another potential cause would be to scent camouflage, and I've actually seen my hedgehogs do this outside where they'll be walking in the grass, they'll start chewing on the grass and they'll start anointing themselves with it, and it's to help kind of camouflage their scent walking around an environment. Hedgehogs also have awful, awful eyesight, but they have really good hearing and really good smell. Now, I've had 3 hedgehogs. Paris is one, and then I had Mary and Pippin. Yes, I named hedgehogs after the hobbits. Now, Pippin passed away from cancer, which unfortunately a lot of hedgehogs get when they're older. I don't know if it's like a genetic disposition or something with how they were bred, but a lot of hedgehogs will get cancer and tumors as they get older. Yeah, so that's hedgehogs. Very cute, weird looking little animals and huge poop machines. So those were 5 of my strangest critters. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching. Hopefully you enjoyed our first video. I realized I couldn't possibly fit all of my strangest animals into one video, so I'm going to be doing a second video, part 2, with my strangest animals. So if you guys want to watch that and some of the other videos I'm going to be putting out about all of our different animals, I'm going to be doing care videos and fun facts and all that stuff about all the 70 plus animals that I have living in this house. Feel free to subscribe, and thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. See ya! Have similar traits or kind of serve the same. Because he kind of looks almost like a chubby worm. I'm sorry, dude. I'm calling you chubby a lot today. You smell something good on the table? Is it the tortoise poop? Is that because the tortoise pooped? Some walking sticks have legs. No. They all have legs. What? They all have legs. So pancake Nordis. Yeah, Nordis. What the? What's a Nordis? Flat like a pancake. So go to IHOP and order a stack of testudos pancakes. That's not the actual scientific name. I don't remember what it is. The scientific name is IHOPius testudo. No. Pepper, I hear you down there. No, don't go to the... No, don't go to the